So have you ever thought like you've been working for a while and 40 hours has never really been enough to keep up with the economy? So let's talk about it today. So what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Trey Visions. This is a channel about career, motivation, finance, and just my point of view in life. And today we're going to talk about how 40 hours should be enough and people having to work overtime, not willingly having to work overtime to keep up with bills and just whatever it is shouldn't be normal, but it is. So let's talk about it, man. So like, subscribe, and comment for me. So let's talk about it right quick. So have you ever been like at work? And let's make this clear. I'm not going against anybody that goes to over like that does overtime. But if you're forced to do overtime and it's not by choice, then it's completely different than needing to do overtime and wanting to do overtime. But it's like 40 hours is already a lot in the day, depending on what time you work as well. Like for me, I wake up early, so I get off early, and I've been doing overtime for almost a year now, and I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's forced overtime, but I work in construction in the trades, and if you pass up overtime, they look at you kind of funny. But me personally, I don't care about that because one, I have a daughter. I'm not going to miss out on my daughter's life because I want to do so much overtime and I don't know how to manage my money. And two, I'm decent with managing my money. So it's like I don't need overtime personally to have a lot of money. I don't need to waste all my hours at work not being able to see my daughter, not being able to pick her up from school, things like that because I want to work an extra 2 hours a day or I want to work extra over the 40-hour amount. So if you especially got kids, bro, and you're doing overtime that's not really needed, you want to. Well, if you're doing it that's needed, the job needs you to do that overtime, I would be looking for a different job, me personally. Now, I can't speak for everyone's situation, but me, if I have to do overtime like 60 hours a week and I can't see my children and I'm just going to work, going home, not being able to take my children anywhere, or I'm too tired when I get back home, then the extra money isn't really worth it, to be honest. And if you're managing your money right, 40 hours it should be all you need. I'm just being honest with you. If you know how to measure your money, 40 hours should be all you need, bro. You don't need to do all that overtime. Now, if you want to, that's on you. I ain't telling you overtime is that bad, things like that. But me personally, I feel like 40 hours should be all we need. And to be honest, we should probably just need to work less than that. But 40 hours is the typical full time schedule. So that's what I'm talking about. The thing is with overtime, you could get trapped in doing it so much and you become desensitized to a lot of things. Like me personally, and I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing overtime for a year, but it's getting to the point where, and I have personal reasons why I'll probably be going to 8 hours, but that's for another. I'm not gonna make a video on that. But yeah, I've been doing overtime so much, and it's like when I get and plus the overtime plus sitting in traffic for over 2 hours just to get home because we leave at 4. The high peak time of traffic is another thing. Like overtime isn't that bad, but then once you gotta drive 3 hours a day, 1 hour to work, two back, it does get draining. Like I don't be tired when I'm at work about to get off, but once I get in that car and just sitting in traffic makes you exhausted, man. But we can't be trading our extra time for money. And what I mean by that, especially if it's not money where it's not a personal business of ours, it's not something that we're working on. We're helping another company get richer. So that's why I feel like the main reason that it should only be 40 hours is for us getting enough time to want to do what we want to do once we get off work. Whether that's business, whether that's be with family members, whether that's start a YouTube, which is YouTube is technically a business. Whatever you want to do, we should have enough time to do it. Now, if you work late shift or you work evening, then before work, you should have time to do it. But in general, having to work overtime for a company and they're forcing you to work overtime, that's terrible, man. If you in that situation, try to get out of it because more money does not, it's not worth the stress. I'm telling you that right now. And because it's coming from a guy that's been working overtime for a whole year, getting, fat paychecks. It's cool. The paychecks are cool, but you don't have time to spend the money. And I don't spend money like for fun. I save the money. Now, yeah, I'm saving it, but I have a daughter. I barely get to see my daughter because I'm at work 24/7. And me personally, I don't want to be that guy that was at work 24/7, not with their daughter, or my daughter not remembering me being there because I was at work all the time. Because I've seen it happen. Seen it happen with parents and people that I know, friends, where their parents are barely there. Yeah, they're getting the money, but a lot of these kids would rather have the relationship with their parents than just have them make money 24/7. And as long as you're making enough money to the point you can do 40 hours, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you, like I said, if you're not making enough money and you have to do overtime, then you may need to be looking for a different job or different career. I'm just being honest with you. Because if you have to do overtime to satisfy anything that you're paying for, whether that's a roof over your head, whether it's a car, it gets to a point where what if this overtime gets cut off? Because it's possible overtime can get cut off. No one is doing it. Well, there is jobs that do overtime year round, but sometimes it may get slow or something like that, and they got to cut the overtime off. Then what will you do? Where I work at, the journeyman, what journeyman is basically the guys that's been there long, almost 5 years plus. Well, yeah, have been there 5 year plus. They always tell us that don't get used to the overtime checks. When you're calculating how much you're paying for things monthly, do the 40-hour checks or whatever you get on a regular full time schedule because you're not going to get overtime regularly. Right now, it's good. Take advantage of it. But at the same time, if you have the choice and you have a daughter you got to see on a daily, then overtime isn't worth it. Go be with your daughter. Go find other ways to make money. And that's what they was telling us. So I just wanted to make a quick venting video, man. That's all. I'm not saying everybody deserves, to work 40 hours. Well, I'm not saying everyone has to work 40 hours. You can do what you want to do. But I'm saying this to say it should be enough. And in this economy, it's not really looking like 40 hours is enough. A lot of people are not getting paid enough hourly to just work 40 hours. They have to do that overtime. They have to put in that extra leg work. They got debt. They got bills that's bills on bills. And the bills are almost, well, it's not almost. The bills are too much. The bills are too much. So it's like some people got to work. Some people got to work, leave work, then go DoorDash or whatever it is to make that extra money, man. And it's crazy out here. And I always wonder, like, when is it going to be flipped on the other side of the coin or the other side where we don't have to do all this working overtime or working after work to keep up with the economy and inflation. We may never see that in our lifetime. And that's just true. That's just being honest, man. We may not never see that in our lifetime. It may happen when we gone off this earth. It may still be inflation problems with the countries. Well, with this country. I can only speak for this country. But yeah, man, that's really all I had. This was kind of like a quick venting video. It's your boy Trey Visions. Like, subscribe, and comment. And I'm out, man. Peace.